Social Security is disappearing, right? Well, it's back in the news once again, so let's get into it and discuss all the details and what this means for us. Let's jump right into it. But really fast before we do, if you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe by hitting that button right down below the video. Information is changing very, very fast right now, but I'm doing all the research and I'm breaking it all down into these short videos so that you can stay updated each and every day with all the latest details hot off the wire as this information is being released. So again, thanks so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet so you don't miss any updates or information going forward during this very, very busy time. All right, thanks again. Let's jump right into the video. All right, so once again, this is back in the news. Social Security is going broke. Social Security is disappearing. All of these different ways that it could possibly be stated. But let's be real with ourselves. How many times have we been hearing this, and how long have we been hearing this? I'm not sure about you, but I know that I've been hearing this ever since I was a little kid, for as far back as I can possibly remember. I remember the statements and all the things that we heard back in the day. Oh, Social Security's going broke. It's going to be gone here pretty soon, right? Well, that is not the case, and realistically, Social Security is not going anywhere for a very long time, if ever. But there may be some major changes coming to Social Security if Congress does not actually do something in the relatively near future. So this is something that we certainly need to look at very closely because the program could see some major changes if something is not done by Congress. Now remember, any changes to Social Security cannot be done through executive order. They must be done through Congress. Congress has the ability to do this. And as we know as of recently, Congress has a hard time doing just about anything these days. So we've got to look at the current situation and see what's going on out there. And I do want to share with you some new information that came out of a recent report that I just came across and discuss all the details on this. So let's talk through all these details a little bit more clearly here. So first off, let's talk about this report that I came across and where all this information is coming from. So first off, this new report came out showing that the Social Security trust funds may be completely depleted by 2033. Now, this is not necessarily new information. We've heard this many times before, probably in the last year or so. We've talked about this as other reports have also announced this as well. Now, let me actually describe what this means going forward, because as we look at it and think, wait, the trust funds are going to be completely depleted? That means my benefit will completely end, right? No, that's actually not what it means. So let me talk through the details on this so that we can all be on the same page and understand what this means, because there's a big distinction between the trust fund being depleted and empty versus benefits completely stopping. There's a huge difference there. So let's talk through all this a little bit more here. So first off, if the trust fund actually is depleted, by the way, there's about 65 million beneficiaries of Social Security between Social Security retirement, SSDI, disability benefits, and survivor's benefits. Now, I am not including SSI, supplemental security income, into this because SSI is a separate program that is administered by Social Security, but those funds do not come out of the Social Security Trust Fund. Rather, that funding comes out of the general fund. So that's something completely different, even though SSI is actually administered by the Social Security Administration. Right? Yeah, I know, it's getting confusing already, but either way, this does not impact SSI in any way, shape, or form. So I do want to focus strictly on Social Security programs, retirement, SSDI, and survivor's benefits. All right, so anyway, let's keep rolling here and talk about this further. So the reports are suggesting this. The trust fund may be depleted in about 10 years or so. Let's just call it 10 years. And any way that they could possibly refill the trust fund would be through an act of Congress. However, does it mean that your benefits will therefore be stopping? No, it simply does not mean that at all. It simply means that the trust fund is kind of like a boat with a little hole in the bottom. Essentially, the water coming into the boat is faster than the water going, or the water going out of the boat is faster than the water coming into the boat. If that kind of makes any sense at all. That's a really bad analogy. I apologize. Let me give you a different analogy. So basically what it comes down to is there's more money going out of the trust funds than there is coming into the trust funds. Sorry, I don't know why I said the boat analogy. That's just a really bad one. Essentially, that's all that's happening, is the trust fund is depleting very slowly. More money is going out than what's actually coming in. So therefore, Over long periods of time, in about 10 years from now, the trust fund essentially will be so-called depleted. Therefore, the only money that the Social Security Administration would be able to pay out to beneficiaries would strictly be based on tax revenues at that given time. So as we all know, as you go in and, I know a lot of you here in the community are receiving retirement benefits. So all the years that you paid in through working and all the Social Security taxes that you paid over the years, all of that money is collected by Social Security. Well, essentially the same thing is happening. Any money that's being collected right now by Social Security taxes basically is going into it and going right out the other door, right? Well, that's essentially what would be happening as well in the event that the Social Security Trust Fund would be depleted. There's no money in the trust fund, therefore, any money that is collected through Social Security taxes would come in one door and go right out the other door. However, the problem is there's less money being collected by Social Security taxes than what is actually being paid out. Let me give you a quick example. Let's say that they actually generate $100 per month in Social Security taxes. Now again, obviously these numbers I'm just using $100 as an example. So $100 comes in as tax revenues for Social Security. However, they pay out $125 each and every month. Kind of makes sense here? So that's kind of what's actually happening. So the fact of the matter is, in order for them to continue paying out benefits, they would actually need to reduce benefits by about 22%, and they'd only be able to pay out about 78% of promised benefits as the calculations are currently being displayed. So the whole point is, let me give you another example here. Let's just say that you're receiving right now a $1,000 monthly benefit. In the event that the trust fund is depleted and they can only pay out benefits at a rate of 78% of guaranteed benefits, therefore, because they're only paying out the money that's coming in through taxes, basically what it comes down to is they have, again, your $1,000 benefit going out the door, and all of a sudden they can only pay out 78% of that. That means they can only pay you out $780 each and every month versus the $1,000 that you were receiving. That's a huge hit, right? That's $220 difference every single month. Well, that's not going to be a very good situation for a lot of people who are relying on the vast majority of their retirement benefits in the form of Social Security, right? That would not be a good situation. So that is essentially what they're saying going forward. However, there's a couple of changes here that may be coming to Social Security. Number one is the introduction of the Social Security 2100 by John Larson. Now, there's a couple different provisions in this program, but here's one of the major things about it. The vast majority of the provisions in the Social Security 2100 are only good for 5 years. So we would need a longer term solution than just a 5-year basically patch or short-term fix on Social Security going forward. We need a long-term solution, something that would be in place for realistically many decades into the future. So Congress is playing around with a lot of ideas right now as far as how they can actually do this. They do have time on their side, as in they have quite a few years to get this done, but we also understand too that Congress is notoriously very slow for getting anything done. So it realistically probably will take several years for them to actually enact any type of long-term solution to shore up the Social Security trust funds and make sure that they can continue to pay out all of the guaranteed benefits going forward for the millions of beneficiaries. And realistically, the last numbers that I saw, 10,000 people are becoming eligible for Social Security benefits every single day. That's a lot of people, right? That's every single day. 10,000 people are becoming eligible for retirement benefits. So that's a lot, right? That's a lot of extra people that are exiting the workforce, as in no longer paying in through Social Security taxes, and now they're going to start drawing on their benefits. By the way, if that happens to be you, congratulations for the retirement. That is super cool, right? Very, very exciting time in your life. But anyway, something else that we got to continue watching very closely going forward. So in the short term, your benefits are totally fine. Social Security is not going anywhere, at least right now anyway, even in, say, 10 years when the Social Security Trust Fund is possibly depleted. Does that mean the benefits are going anywhere? No, they're not going anywhere. They will still continue to be paid out, but rather they may be paid out on a smaller benefit size. They may be only paid out at about a 78% rate versus the 100% rate right now. Again, that would not be a good thing, but Congress has many years ahead of them to get this actually kind of figured out and to figure out what they want to do going forward to help this situation out. So Anyway, one also interesting point here. So John Larson, who happens to be the architect of the Social Security 2100, he mentioned that the fixed income are reliant on these benefits, and that the fixed income are actually influenced and impacted the most by inflation, and they need help, and they need help now. So yeah, exactly what we've been saying right here on the channel for a couple of years now. We've been talking about inflation, and we've been talking about how all of these fixed income beneficiaries need additional support, which is why we continue to talk about stimulus checks and why they are needed so badly. And of course, we need those permanent raises to benefits in any way, shape, or form. So anyway, there's a lot going on out there right now, but either way, I saw this once again in the headlines popping up today. Social Security is disappearing. No, it's not. Social Security is not going anywhere anytime soon for at least a very long time, if it goes anywhere, but I would highly doubt Social Security goes anywhere probably forever because of so many people relying on it. I just highly doubt it's going anywhere. So anyway, just wanted to point that out for you. Let you know all the details and what this actually means going forward. So anyway, hope this kind of identifies it a little bit more clearly here for you. So again, make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media. Go back and check out any of the other 2,200 plus videos right here on the channel. Enjoy your day. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you again later.